In Ukraine today, more devastation following 3 airstrikes in the eastern part of the country. Explosions reported near a kindergarten, an apartment building, and a shoe factory as Russian forces continue to bombard major cities. The UN confirming more than 2.5 million people have fled the country since the start of the invasion just over 2 weeks ago. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky saying 100,000 people have been evacuated in just the last 2 days from 7 cities in the north and the center of the country. Our Robert Sherman is on the ground in Ukraine reporting on this war, and he joins us now with the latest developments. Robert, good morning.
Good morning to you, Rutabe. And a lesson in war, morality is a matter of perspective. The Kremlin saying today that they have processed 16,000 applications or so, mostly from people in the Middle East who want to enlist and fight for the Russian forces, believing that they're taking part in a liberation movement here in Ukraine. The Russians say that they'll start bringing those volunteers into the country in the coming days. Meanwhile, the war continues to slug forward into its second week as cities around Ukraine feel the brunt of Russian bombings.
This morning, war is reaching cities in Ukraine mostly untouched by Russian attacks. This is video from Dnipro in central Ukraine, where local officials say airstrikes hit a preschool, an apartment building, and a shoe factory. Other strikes are being reported in Lutsk in the northwest and Ivano-Frankivsk in the southwest. The expanding strikes come as British defense officials warn that Russian forces could be regrouping and preparing for a new offensive, including the capital of Kyiv. New satellite images showed that 40-mile convoy of Russian vehicles fanning out into surrounding towns and forests just outside of Kyiv. The company who took these images says the artillery pieces in tow are also now in firing positions. But Ukraine's defense forces are putting up a fight. Ukrainian troops can be seen here driving off in a captured Russian tank after an ambush. This column of Russian tanks was approaching Kyiv but quickly tried to retreat when Ukrainian forces started bombing, destroying multiple tanks and killing a Russian colonel, according to the Ukrainians.
The soldiers worked the ambush just perfectly.
But day after day, another town is met with Russian air raids. Ukraine's second largest city of Kharkiv, with blown-out buildings covered in snow, is under non-stop bombardment, according to its mayor. Food, water, and medicine still needed in the city of Mariupol, which experienced a devastating attack on a maternity ward. Today, Ukraine hopes to open another series of evacuation corridors. Mariupol is the top priority, but the evacuation routes have not been agreed upon with the Kremlin. So far, Russia has mainly approved routes that only lead into Russia or nearby Belarus. Every day, thousands of Ukrainians, among them young children, are attempting to seek safety at the borders. Others finding that safety in the arms of strangers at an orphanage in Lviv.
They need love, they need just people who will be with them.
And the UN Security Council will be meeting today at Russia's request. The Russians claim that the United States is engaged in what they call biological activities here in Ukraine, and they want that discussed today. The White House has pushed back against this strongly, claiming that this is a false flag. Rutabe?
And Robert, you spent time in one of the cities that was struck overnight. Tell us a little bit about it, and have you heard anything about the situation there right now?
Yeah, there were a number of cities that were hit overnight that for the most part have remained untouched throughout this war. Ivano-Frankivsk is one of them, which we spent quite a bit of time in last week. This is the second time that we know of that Ivano-Frankivsk has been hit. But once again, it was the airport. And we have started to see this at some of these western and more central Ukrainian cities that are not in the direct line of fire or the invasion path of the Russians, but they have airports there. And we've seen these long-range attacks that have been used to try and disable some of those airports. So that was the case that we saw here in western and southwest Ukraine once again.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.